So in that context, let us now start with verse 58. Yeah.
Swamiji, I have a thought actually. I have only thought, it's not a question or anything, because this thought nobody can answer, I think. Actually, when Krishna was there in the Dwapara Yuga, that time only earth was there. People have concept about earth and all. They thought the earth is the center of the world. This everybody knows. Now we come to, now there are zillion. We know that there are zillions and zillions of worlds and billions of stars and all. So many things are there. Vast, measurable, unimaginable universe is there. Is Bhagavan Krishna is controlling everything, or is also for Vyavahara purpose? This I am thinking only. It's my thought only. It's not a it's not a question to be asked actually. It's not a question at all.
All said then, Krishna is again here a name and form. Okay, Krishna is a name. And the form also, we have only Tribanga, we say, we have only made that form. The man has only, God is in the image of the man only. Okay, so both Krishna the name and Krishna the form is designed by us. Okay, whether Vyasa said it, whether such a character ever lived, and the Dwapara Yuga and all those things, irrespective of all that, what we are saying is, by looking at the teaching, even if such a person was there, the teaching is very pragmatic. He says, he himself says later, if you understand life the way in which I understand, then you are also avatara. That is what he tells Arjuna later. So, what is the emphasis on the whole thing is the understanding. If you understand that I, the awareful being, even this particular chapter, now another 2-3 verses later, he is going to talk about Matpara and all that. In the sense, if you have that param, that the awareful being which is not limitless conscious being is you, if you understand that you are also avatara, if that prajna is totally in you, that is the Ishvara. Ishvara meaning all knowledge, all vairagyam, all Shri and all that. Why? How it can be all? Because there is no thing. There is only being completely in a flux all the time. So, that is why Bhagavan himself is called Daridra Narayan. Meaning he doesn't own anything. At the same time, he owns everything. In the same way, once you understand the awareful being, then in that everything is moving, there is no particle or wave outside, then means you are everything. In the being is the only conscious being, and the same conscious being is there in everyone, and there is only one conscious being. You call it Ishvara or call it Ashma or as I. Either way, you call it, it's all name and form only. I is one name, Ishvara is another name, Atma is another name. But the reality of all this is one conscious being, consciousness. If that understanding is that param drishtva, if you have that understanding thorough in your thing, then you will not be buffeted by what you have gone through in your life, in all your janmas and all that. You, in spite of this understanding, you will have to do vyavahara. And while doing vyavahara, there can be some plus minus, because like here also in this particular thing, ishtam, anishtam, dukkam, sukham, even that bifurcation is wrong, because there is nothing called sukham and dukkam. It's all in a flux. But still, even Bhagavan himself uses the word sukham and dukkam. Sukhesu and dukkhesu anudvigamanaha. By what we are generally confronting in Vyavahara. He is using the same terminology as we use. But there is nothing called dukkam and sukham. Because everything is in a flux. What is dukkam today can be sukham tomorrow. So the whole thing is in a flux. So if that awareness is there, whether Krishna is what you call a person, embodiment, existed or not, once we are alert to this awareful being, that is what he commits himself to. He says, I am also the awareful being only, the Purnam. If you understand the way in which I understand, you are also awareful being, the Purnam. Then there is no, that you are also avatara, I am also avatara. Only I know, you are not knowing, better know. That's what he concludes. He never commits himself that in his body he is superior to Arjuna and his body. He never says that. We think that way. And what you call the Purana, the storyline, always brings up Krishna as a very Panduranga, Krishna, Rama. Everything is all for helping us to narrate a story, that's all. We don't have to get into it, especially when we are looking at Shastra through Gita Acharya. That is what we have to really worry about. We have to really look at. Yeah.
Nice down to earth reply, Swamiji. Very
Yeah.
down to earth and practical reply. And actually, now I understand that awareness, conscious self is beyond Krishna.
Yes, yes, very true.
Only the
He
teachings we have to see, not the form of Krishna.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And he
Fine.
himself insists on that. That is it. For verse 58, I think you have to start with.
Shall we start?
Yeah.
Uncle, I would like to read.
Prashant would like to.
Read for the first part.
Yeah. Okay, start.
A wise person is able to withdraw the sense organs at will. Yada samharate chayam kumo nangiva sarvashah indriyanindriyayartebhyah indriyanindriyastebhyastasya.
What is it correct? Indriyani indriyatebhyaha tasya prajna pradishtita.
Indriyani indriyatebhyastasya.
Tebhyaha. Indriyani indriyatebhyaha tasya prajna pradishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtita. Yada, when, cha, and ayam, this person, kurma, turtle, angani, limbs, iva, like, indriyar tebhyaha, from sense objects, indriyani, sense organs, sarvashaha, completely, samharate, is able to withdraw, tasya, his, prajna, knowledge, pratishtita, is steady. When, like the turtle that withdraws its limbs, this person is able to completely withdraw the sense organs from their objects, his knowledge is steady. This verse was also in response to Arjuna's question about how a Sthita Prajna interacts with the world. The word cha connecting to it the previous verse. The wise person's capacity to manage his or her mind and senses is what is now being discussed. A person may have jnana, but for that knowledge to be steady, one must be able to withdraw the sense organs from the sense pursuits at will. Although the senses themselves are not harmful, they are referred to as the villains by the Shastra and by ourselves. For example, we make such statements as, I am okay, but my sense organs take me for a ride. My eyes alone take me to New York, 42nd Street. My ears also take me places. My sense organs are turbulent. They are the ones doing all the mischief. I am in their hands, the victim of my sense organs. Sense organs are not to blame. In fact, the sense organs are not to blame at all. They are purely reporters. They do not ask you to do anything. Otherwise, you could not go into a shopping mall and come out without everything sticking to you. The senses themselves are not turbulent. They only report, and they keep reporting because it is their nature to report. Reporting is their job. Eyes tell you what is there. If it is a sentence, they help you read it. If it is a color, they help you see it. It is not the sense of smell that tells you that this is sweet and so on. It only reports the smell. You are the one who decides whether it is sweet or not. Otherwise, who would like blue cheese? If the senses had sweetness, they would never develop a liking for a strong smelling cheese called blue cheese. You develop a liking for it, not the senses. They only report the smell, and when they report the smell of the blue cheese to some people, those people run. The senses are not responsible for your going for the blue cheese. Your mind is the cause. Thus, the senses themselves are not to blame. Please remove the blame from the senses. They are given to you simply for reporting. They do no harm. The reason they are presented as villains is because they report there are problems. If they did not report, there would be no desire, no pursuit, and therefore no problem. But because they report, there are fancies, and you go along with the fancies. These fancies are many, and the report of the senses are constant. They keep coming all the time. Reports of new objects, new scenes, and changing scenes. Because the senses are a means of knowledge, a pramana, it is their job to report what is happening. For example, if there is a sound, your sense of hearing immediately tells you that it is a sound. Because of the various sense data, you get yourself started and before long find yourself caught up in fancies. Because the report of the senses lead to fancies, the senses seem to be a problem, but they are not. Even the fancies that happen in your mind are not in themselves a problem, but because you go along with the fancies, the senses are considered to be turbulent and are thought of as villains. The senses are not villains. If they report something and there is a fancy for it, you go along with the fancy until you find that you have no time for anything else. And because there are so many fancies, you are totally lost. The verse under discussion refers to the person who is able to withdraw the senses at his or her will in order to gain steadiness in the knowledge of the self. When a person is able to gain or command the capacity to dismiss fancies at will, then his or her knowledge is steady because there is nothing for the person to regret. A sthita prajna goes only by what he or she wants, meaning what is considered to be right and is not dictated by fancies. To go by what you want means that you decide. The decision itself may be right or wrong, but you go by it and not by your fancies. The one who does not go by fancies, who is able to withdraw one's sense organs at will, is not in the hands of the senses. Sense pursuits do not happen for such a person without his or her signature and sanction. This person then gains jnana nishta, steadiness in the knowledge of the self. Swamiji, we say that we go by our instincts, certain things. For example, 4 o'clock, I decide to go out. I want to go to the mall and then go to the movie. So we plan the time and we say go at 4, we go to the mall and then we go to the movie at 6:30. So we decide that okay, we leave at 4. Some people I've seen do not have that, that sense to think, okay, we have to do like this. They will do something and they will go ahead, but they'll never feel, basically the thought that this is good, this is bad, this is perfect, that is perfect. If I do this, this is better. Like that sometimes it works out for us, Swamiji. Like the time will suddenly come along with us and not betray us. Like that, things are there, correct?
No, the thing is that, see, those are all, that is what he means by fancies is, you may not have, there is a famous saying, no, we should not have too many irons in the fire. You would have heard this statement. You cannot, that is what is happening. That is what you will be telling later also, sanchalam ki manaha. Too many things in the mind, no, too many ideas, fancies, or in the sense, the lifestyle. That is why simple living and high thinking. That is what the earlier period people used to say. That is, you must have, that is my way of looking at it also, but I am sharing my experience. You have, since you don't have any commitment to fancies. Like there are so many things that are happening, like during the day, so on, but what you think that is going to add value, you must be able to decide. That is where there can be fancies coming in, like what you call sarvan kaman manogatan, like a bubble when water boils, lot of bubbles keep coming. As they come, they drop off also. The same way, lot of things will keep coming in your mind. You don't have to really go by all that. You know what is your, if you have your specific goals, simple goals in life, what you have to do in the next 1 year, you would have thought of. And whatever that is going to facilitate you towards that, you concentrate on that. Other things will keep coming. Okay, people will call you, there will be friends, there will be things. And just okay, I say yes. And this is whatever you like, there may be an invitation. In the sense, just because you have invited, you can't be going for everything. That way, so many invitations will be there. You just send a message saying that I wish you well, let it happen, and then you carry on with your thing. In the sense, you must be able to decide. That's what he says. Here, what he means is, there can be so many things, but you have to decide what you want to pursue and go ahead and keep to that. Then only, even you will have the leisure, even the time management part of it which you are talking, will all happen, fall in place when you have few things to chase. If you are going to be too many things happening in your mind, all those things, you yourself feel that you are not in control. Those things, those sort of situations, that sort of a mindset itself we should avoid. this thing, the study of Gita itself will help in getting over that mindset. Because what is our ultimate? What are we looking for in life? That is very important. Those bigger goals will ensure that the overall view of life will ensure the point of view is given only that much importance. Point of view should not become a view. The view of life should be overall and should be what you call nourishing. And once you have that, you must be able to be at it. You should be able to develop a value for it and be at it. And that should anchor you during the day. Whatever you do, you should be in falling in line. You should not jeopardize that pursuit. That part of it you have to be alert to. In the sense, you cannot go to a specific instance or a specific person's life and say you should do this and you do that. But overall, I can only share how I used to look at it. This is how I used to look at it. That is how I would suggest we should go for. Yeah.
Vyavasayatmika buddhi. We read about Vyavasayatmika buddhi, aka Nandana. So that Vyavasayatmika buddhi will make you avoid the other fancies.
Yes, correct. You are right. Very true. Since the larger pursuit should be very clear and clear. That is precisely what he is trying to say. Since the more and more you are clear about your understanding of what life is all about, less and less you will have conflicts in terms of pursuing this or that. So the conflicts will reduce automatically.
Swamiji, one live experience, Swamiji, like this is from my personal life. I have felt many times, Swamiji. Assume I am going to some place, say a vacation, or forget vacation, I am driving somewhere to some Madras to Trichy or Madras to Manjagudi, for example. When I go with Appa, always I have to leave at 5:36 in the morning. I am unable to do my karma. What I will basically do is I will do Sandhyavanam and leave with him. Okay. Everything will go fine without any problem, and we will end up before dawn, before it becomes dark, we will reach the place and we will successfully complete that journey. Now, if you take me, if I'm going alone, I would finish all my karma and leave only at 9 o'clock in the morning and not at 5 o'clock in the morning. I will reach to the destination only by 9 o'clock in the night and not at 5 o'clock in the evening. I will drive some in the night. But I've still been successful in the same way as what I did with my father, because the other execution of steps I've been following in the same way what my father did. So, many people have asked me, is this good or is that good? I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, it's for certain things, which do not affect your overall pursuit, the choice is there. That is why kartum, the free will. That is why what they say, kartum shakyam, akartum shakyam, anyatava kartum shakyam. That free will is available as long as your main pursuit, the main direction, the main dharma is not affected. That much of free will everyone has. That we can use it judiciously, you can use it, what you feel comfortable with, you can stick to. That is nothing, there is no hard and fast rule about all these things. That is why, those things are not the real issue as such. Actually, we should not be exercising our mind in those areas. What we are discussing is something much more profound. And we should stick to that. You should not get sidetracked by certain things which are all very mundane things. So let us carry on. Yeah.
The sense and sense perception is little confusing from the understanding between sense and sense perception.
That is why the sense and sense perception here in the context of whether it is distracting you from the main pursuit. Any fancy which you take to, which is going to distract you from the main pursuit of a relative tranquil mind, which will help you to be anchored in this understanding, that sort of fancy should not be entertained. If any fancy by doing that you are not affected, then you can carry on. You can do that. So that is a yardstick with which you must look at any mundane things in life. Like daily routine, a lot of things, as I was telling earlier also, whether to take a coffee with half sugar or more sugar, there is a choice. Whether that will affect my tendency, no. There is no real correlation as such. You should not be getting into all those things. You must always focus on, even in management they say, the focus on the important few and work on that. Rather than getting lost in getting mired in too many details in life. Don't do that. Get to focus on the important few and stick to it and develop a discipline in that. Automatically other things will follow. Like Swamiji always used to say, take one value and attack. All other values will fall like a noodle. You take a noodle, no, all things, other things come together. Why? But important ahimsa. If there is, I won't hurt people, come what may. I won't allow others to hurt me also, come what may. If that sort of a pursuit is there, lot of things, other things will fall in place automatically. If you make a sankalpa in your mind that I will not allow others to hurt, it's my personal experience. I tell myself that nobody can hurt me. And that has helped me, served me very well in so many years. I am just giving you an example. Yeah.
Anyone can withdraw the senses. We must remember.
Swamiji, those days also you are always smiling. Never lose your temper. I have seen.
Vibhuti. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone can
withdraw the senses.
Yeah.
Because remember here that the person under discussion is a Sthita Prajna whose knowledge is firm and remains. Otherwise, anyone who is together could be taken as a jnani, which is not true. The person we are discussing is either a Sthita Prajna or one who is committed to Sthita Prajnatva, one who wants to be a Sthita Prajna. For both, the capacity to withdraw one's senses from anything at will is important. This capacity has already been accomplished by the Sthita Prajna, whereas for the one who wants to be a Sthita Prajna, it is yet to be gained. Krishna used the example of karma turtle.
No.
Kurma turtle.
Kurma is the name, Sanskrit name for turtle. Yeah.
Kurma.
Yes, exactly. Kurmavatara. Yeah.
Krishna used the example of a kurma turtle with reference to withdrawing the sense organs. A turtle is able to withdraw its limbs at will and then send them out again. Because the turtle cannot move quickly, it is given a protection. It has the extraordinary capacity to withdraw its neck, legs, and tail in under its thick shell whenever it apprehends danger. The thickness of the shell prevents the detection of any scent of a living being underneath. This is Bhagavan's gift to the turtle and is also an indication of Bhagavan's sense of humor and justice. If he had given every living being 4 good legs, it would have meant that he had run out of imagination. Instead, Bhagavan is showing you that there is yet another way. Without big legs or fast movements, the turtle too can survive by withdrawing its limbs into its shell. Similar to the turtle, a human being is not helpless in the hands of the senses because the person also has a thick shell into which he or she can withdraw. In fact, for some people, the shell is so thick that nothing enters. If the mind is taken away by fancies, what can the senses do? But you can see 100 different things without wanting any of them. You simply see them in the same way as you see nature's autumn colors. What do you want out of them? Nothing. You must enjoy them from a distance, appreciating them as they are. In the same way, the senses need not create a problem. If there is a fancy, it comes as a fancy and goes as a fancy. It is only when you want something that problems arise. By means of the turtle example, Krishna is describing the capacity to withdraw the senses at will from their objects and into oneself. And for the one who has knowledge, this capacity will enable that knowledge to become steady, to gain nishtha. For the one who has prepared oneself for knowledge, by developing the capacity to make the mind and senses behave in this way, the knowledge is not going to be far away. And if the person is not so prepared, let him or her try to make the mind and senses behave by the practice of withdrawing them from the sense objects. It is as simple as that. The information in this verse is not provided in order to judge anyone, but so that you may understand how the mind and senses are meant to function.
Yeah, see, which I had some time back, we had a small WhatsApp this thing, no? Like how you look at a flower. See, we look at a flower and associate a smell and shape and register and dwell on it, like Rasagulla, and dwell and say that I like this flower. Then whenever you see it, you start looking at it as something, a likable substance. So, if we can practice, if we can really look at things as they are, like what he is saying, just look at, don't develop any stigma of liking and ishtam, anishtam, sukham, dukkam and all that towards things. Not necessary at all. Unless something is of paramount importance, you don't give it a name, don't give it an associate, I like, I don't like and all that to many things. Let us not be too very specific in our lives. If we do it, practice it in a small way, I tell you, that will reduce lot of our angularities and fancies. Then they will not disturb. We will just see, honestly I am telling you, there are a lot of people who look at a landscape and they will go to every flower and go ecstatic about it. This is so beautiful, that is so beautiful, so particular about all those things. For me, everything looks beautiful. Even in my own Rayana Pravaha, they have got beautiful landscape. Our managing trustee Sheila Balaji, Varun Srinivasan's sister, she has got a lot of this beautiful, the idea, a lot of ideas and a lot of thinking about how the landscape should be and all that. She will keep on telling you the beauty of that, this and all that. Honestly speaking, I look at it, I respect it, but nothing really registers in me as something liking and not liking and all that. I say, nice, everything is fine, beautiful, nice. That is the only thing I keep telling myself. And that is how I am. It's always better that way. Rather than having too many particularities in life, it doesn't really take us anywhere. Okay, it may be all, it must be there in the samskara of various people. A lot of people have such things. It's all fine. But left to yourself, if you are concentrating on what is the subject matter which you are talking about here, you must reduce those fanciful ideas in life. That makes life simpler. And may be focused on a few things in life and pursue it. That is very important. Yeah.
Swamiji, sometimes when we look at these flowers, sometimes we are amazed that God's creation is so minute. Sometimes it amazes you.
Yeah, that is how. You must definitely look at them as a vibhuti, as a wonder. Life has to be looked at only as a wonder. Everything, if you really look at in detail, even a flower or anything, even an ant for that matter, it's such a small thing, it has got, and if people magnify and show an ant, so many things are happening within the ant, how it moves and all that. It is amazing life, that is why that Mahayogi, the Dakshinamurti Stotram, Bhagavan is explained, in the sense, it only shows the infinite possibility of a awareful being. Awareful being, not being a thing, not being a particle, has got infinite possibilities in it. That is the beauty of life. That is life's understanding. That whether it is you the being or Ishvara the being. One and the same. Because there is no second again. That is what you have to look at. Yeah.
Someone has enabled together mode. I didn't do that.
No, I didn't. I did that actually. No, I don't know how to come out. Anyway, I will try. Sorry.
We look different at each other. Okay, doesn't matter.
Just now, Swamiji talked about looking different and Yeah.
Verse 59.
I will change it later.
I'll continue.
Continue. Verse 59.
Verse 59. Knowledge alone removes the longing. Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. Niraharasya. For the one who does not feed the sense organs. Dehinaha. For the one who indwells this body. Vishyaha. Senses. Vinivartante. Come back to oneself. Rasa Arjam, leaving the longing behind. Param Brahman, Drishtva, having seen. Asya, of this person. Rasaha, the longing. Api, even. Nivartate, goes away. For the one who does not feed the senses come back to oneself with the longing remaining behind. Having seen Brahman, when the self is known, even the longing goes away. There is the possibility of a doubt here. Does this capacity to withdraw one's senses from the sense objects at will give the person jnana nishta? No. Even a complete fool can practice this technique. A yogi also actively engages in this discipline of withdrawing the senses. The sense organs can be withdrawn as a turtle withdraws its limbs. Therefore, cannot say a person is jnana nishta merely because he or she can withdraw the senses and sit with himself or herself. Shankara presents this doubt here in order to deal with it. One can withdraw the senses, but the rasa lingers on. Even though you may not go along with your fancies, the taste for them will still be there. Therefore, is this not the practice of suppression rather than a withdrawal? We have seen how people blow up. The senses definitely get them sooner or later. If not today, then tomorrow. Why? Because everything is suppressed inside. When the value for something is inside you, you will definitely deliver yourself into the hands of your senses eventually. Because you are not their master, the senses will get you. If you think you have enslaved them, you need only wait for situations to present themselves. You will find yourself enslaved by your senses in no time. They will take you for a ride. In the blink of an eye, you will be gone totally. So, even an ordinary person can withdraw the senses, but the taste, rasa, and the value for the fancies will still be there. Such a person feels that sense enjoyments are important and without them one cannot be happy. Because this person is told that sense enjoyments are all very painful, he or she decides not to go after them. Then the person might begin practicing withdrawal of the senses but finds that the rasa does not go away. Even those who already have a value for meditation and learn to withdraw the senses in order to discover ananda in themselves or gain inna.
Papa -1 +1 punya. Yeah.
The question is, when would the taste, the subjective value of sense enjoyments go? The subjective value is an emotional value. Suppose a person is not a fool and has viveka. He is intellectually convinced that sense enjoyments are of no use because they do not provide any real security or lasting pleasure. Even if this person has no intellectual value for sense enjoyments, he or she may still have an emotional value. Therefore, when and how will this emotional value go? The emotional value is very important and must be recognized as such. Emotion is a part of your life, part of your expression. Therefore, you cannot dismiss it, nor is it necessary to do so. And emotion does not need to be respected.
Does need to be respected.
However, that can be overpowering. You can be completely overwhelmed by emotion, and therefore you need to know how to tackle it. An emotional value, which is a subjective value, is different from an intellectual value, which is objective. Intellectually, your analysis can be clean. These are sense objects. They do not contain any joy or security. I am insecure and remain so, whether I have sense objects, whether I have money. Therefore, I need to discover security within myself. This you may know. Though you know that money does not make you secure, you still have an emotional value for it. And even if you do not have an emotional value for money, an intellectual value will definitely be there because you do need to buy a few things. Therefore, to say that money has no value is not correct.
What is the message here, Swamiji? Because little confusing. He's telling emotion also needs to be respected because it has a power that can be overpowering. But previous paragraph, we are talking about emotions that come up and how to control our senses in such a way that emotions don't overpower our mind.
No, the thing is, a fancy is different and emotion is different. A fancy is at the beginning stage, like what we call, Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Madam, Matsara, Raga, Dvesha, it starts with. Then it becomes Kama and Krodha. Then it becomes Moga and Lobha. Then it becomes Madam. This all gradually gets entrenched into your personality. slowly it takes you for a ride. That's what he's trying about. If you are able to stop it at the fancy level, that you should do it. That he has discussed in the previous program. Here he is talking about an emotion. When he says it's an emotion, it's already a entrenched value in your mind. So that you cannot suppress, and it's not by intellectually saying that no, it is not. Now that I am studying Gita, I know that these things do not matter. So I don't care for. But the emotion is already there. That is what the rasa. In the sense, it will catch you unawares. So when there is an emotion, when there is emotional value, how to process it? He is discussing it. You just go through this. He will tell you also how to process that. Whereas the fancy which is taken over as an emotion, which emotional value you already have, then how to deal with it? Here he is discussing that. Yeah.
That money does not give you security is a fact, but money does give you a house, health, haircuts, and a variety of other necessities and comforts. Money is not something that has no value whatsoever. Because it has an objective value, it cannot be dismissed totally. With reference to its emotional value, money is used to measure success. If someone comes to see you in a new car and your car is battered, you find yourself wanting to have a new car. When money is used to measure your success, there is always a feeling that you have not made it. I did not do this and I did not do that. Is one of many indicative of a subjective emotional value that cannot be dismissed.
நான் படிக்கட்டுமா?
From that,
நான் படிக்கட்டுமா? சார் படிப்பாரா? நான் படிக்கிறேன் இல்லாட்டி.
சரி படி.
How can you withdraw from that rasa, the taste that is always there? To suppress the value is not the answer, because suppression is nothing but a volcano that blows its top one day. Whenever there is suppression, this problem arises. Here Krishna told Arjuna now how the subjective value is dealt with. The word Vishayas usually means sense objects, but in the present context, it stands where it is. No, I missed somewhere actually. Arjuna, how the word Visayas usually means sense objects. Correct? Is the thing I have to...
Correct. Yeah.
But in the present context, it stands for the senses. The topic discussed in the previous and the following verses. Based on similar expressions found in the Shastra, Shankara, in his commentary on the verse, converts sense objects into sense organs. Here, the sense organs belong to a person who does not take to any sense object, who denies himself or herself sense objects, who does not have any sense pursuits. Nirahara. Ahara means sense objects and refers to that which is taken by you. Food is called ahara because it is eaten, taken by you. The one who does not feed the sense organs is therefore called a nirahara. Krishna also referred to this person as Dehi, meaning one who is alive in a physical body. Shankara makes the point here that the person who engages in a rigorous discipline of sense withdrawal can be either a viveki or an aviveki. He or she can even be deluded, a fool, murkha, api. In all cases, the sense organs that are withdrawn from the sense objects come back to oneself. Vishaya vinivartante. Visaya vinivartante. But even though the sense organs come back and sense objects are no longer with the person, the taste for the sense objects remains. Rasavarjam vinivartante. In other words, the subjective emotional value for them is still there. If the person is deluded and intellectual value will also be there, impelling the person to perform rigorous disciplines, tapas, merely because someone said that they should be done. The difference between a viveki and an aviveki then is that the viveki will only have the subjective value, not the intellectual value, whereas the aviveki will have both the subjective value and the intellectual value. Knowledge alone,
Swamiji,
next subheading. Knowledge alone
Uncle,
remove.
Uncle, just
No,
a
no,
minute. Uncle,
you are
just a
missing a para.
Okay, go ahead. Okay, go ahead.
In general terms.
Yeah, knowledge alone removes rasa. Removes rasa. Anyway,
No,
in
no, no.
general terms,
No, wait. There is something missing here. What we have in our book is something different.
The difference between a Viveki and a Viveki.
Prakash, you can read.
Okay, Uncle.
In general
Viveki, I read, na?
No. In general terms, rasa is a sense, and is
Yeah,
commonly.
in general terms, this is the heading name. I read it. Knowledge alone removes rasa. Removes rasa.
Okay.
Removes rasa. Removes rasa. It is subheading given. Title is given.
Okay.
That is what I read.
Yeah.
In general terms, rasa is a sense and is commonly used to mean raga or liking. Shankara describes it in the same way. Anything that is pleasing to you may be deferred to as raga or rasa. This is the value that remains inside a person's heart and mind even after having withdrawn the sense organs from it. The rasa too goes away. Krishna said, when the self is known, rasopi param jistva nivartate. This means that when a viveki who pursues self-knowledge and is judicious about his or her present pursuits, withdraws the senses, where there is no suppression. The viveki is only living a life of meaningful discipline, whereas for a person who practices sense withdrawal without pursuing the knowledge, the withdrawal does amount to suppression. The literal meaning of the word drastva is having seen, but here it is used purely to the sense of knowledge. What is to be known is I am that tat param brahma aham eva. It is not any other jnana. That Brahman is myself. There is no difference between the two. Knowing that I am Brahman does not imply that. No, it is missing.
A knower known difference.
Yes.
I missed somewhere.
And in the wake you can carry on. Yeah. And in the wake of this knowledge.
And in the wake of this knowledge, the rasa goes away, nivartate, meaning that it does not take the person for a ride. How the emotional value for sense objects can capture one's mind is explained by Krishna in the next verse. What will no longer be taken for a ride by the rasa? The knowledge of sense object does not create any kind of craving or longing in you. It is milky, seedless, and therefore does not sprout, meaning that it does not set you up so that you are carried away by your fancies. However, the clarity of vision is not there. When knowledge is not there, elimination of rasa is not possible. Therefore, samyak darshanam, knowledge in the form of clear vision, has to be well established, steady and firm. May you work on gaining the vision again and again in what is made clear before. To the view of working for the vision, the erroneous vision will not grow away. People generally plan to work for clear vision only after they have fixed everything in their life. But it does not work that way. There is no fixing up of everything without the vision. So the pursuit is twofold: yoga, self-mastery, and jnana, self-knowledge.
Yeah, I think we stop here. See, that's what Prakash, what you were telling, no? See, this is what he means. What he means is, if your overall understanding, what we are talking about, the vision, the Samyak Darshana, in terms of understanding life as I am the awareful being, Ishvara is also the awareful being, the changing, the changeless is I. That is what my basic being is. That is why I keep coming back. I want that quest to be satisfied in life. That is my overarching pursuit in life. When that vision is clear, that pursuit is clear, even when you are withdrawing your senses from a emotional value, a thing towards emotional value, if this is what is driving you, that withdrawing from that emotional value for things and all that will not really disturb you. If this value is not there, that you do it only as a tapas or because someone else is doing as a vairagyam, in the sense asat vairagyam. He talks about aviveki and viveki here. Generally in Tamil we will say varattu vairagyam. Varattu vairagyam in the sense there is no real what you call focused approach in life. Just because somebody says that you want to do, that will always come back to you. That will come back to your heart with interest. Suddenly you will find it will explode in your face. If your overall pursuit in life is to have that equanimous mind, you want to pursue all this yoga with withdrawing yourself from sense pleasures, with the idea to have a tranquil mind, so that I will pursue this. I will have enough space in my mind to look at things objectively, day-to-day situations, whatever plus minus that happens, I am able to be objective about it, so that I have a relatively tranquil mind. So when I come back to Gita, when I study the scriptures and all that, I am able to spend time doing Shravanam for 1 hour, 2 hours is not an issue for me. So as you do Shravanam more and more, and as you understand this better and you make it your own, that itself becomes a yoga. That itself will reduce the rasa. That's what he's talking about. The emotional value towards certain fancies will automatically come down. But you must have an overarching, more holistic vision about life. And that should be your own. It should not be what is told to you by somebody. If that is there in you, automatically, that is why jnana and yoga have to go together. It is not that you will settle all your emotional values first and then it doesn't happen that way. Jnana itself is a yoga. It helps you to, and yoga helps in jnana, jnana helps in yoga. Both are to be pursuing together. That is why Bhagavad Gita is unique, because it allows you to pursue both karma yoga and jnana simultaneously. Unlike Upanishads, talk about jnana only. That is why he says Upanishad means you must already be an adhikari. You must already settled your irons in life. Then only you can come to Upanishad study. Whereas Gita, even for a person, a normal person can, because of his value for this understanding, slowly over a period of time you will be able to develop that relative tranquility. That will help him in study. Study will help him in living a better life. Both can go together. Karma yoga as well as jnana. That is what he is trying to say. And that is what he will explain also further in the later. Another 2-3 verses, very important, like even Ishvara brings in, that you must have that overarching understanding that Ishvara is also the same conscious being. Once you have that, that means your alienation from Ishvara is reduced. That means you are in a secure situation, like one which aligned with Ishvara. And then where is the question of other emotional security? Other emotional security will not really matter to you. Once you are very clear that you are in the, you and Ishvara are not alienated. That and the not alienated situation is the awareness being. That is the Shastra. That is what is being talked about. That is what you must understand and own it up. That's what he says. He's going to say, and that is what Siddha Prajna does it. He is always Atmani, Atmana Srishta, because he is one with Ishvara all the time. So nothing really, that for him it is a spontaneous thing. For you, you must develop that. You must, the value for this understanding has to develop to that extent. Then automatically the other emotional values will not take you for a ride. They will all slowly disappear. You don't have to suppress them or you have to be violent against them. You don't have to be violent against your emotions. They automatically go away. They automatically go away from your life, having a hold on your life. So that we will discuss.